Welcome to PetInfoCafe from Chicago, Illinois. I am here in Logan Square, Chicago, to talk to Joy Miller, longtime friend and master gardener, about her wonderful garden and her koi and her Ragdoll Cats.
So this is the backyard garden in Logan Square in Chicago. We won the Chicago Garden of Excellence Award 3 times for our neighborhood. It's a very tiny city lot. The whole lot is 30 feet by 175 feet, and just about every inch that we have is taken up with plants, herbs, vegetables, and unique tchotchkes. Yes. Good kitty. No, don't go further the door. You, here comes Taylor. You got a cat in Lollapalooza. One down and one up. Because I do my gratitudes and other things before I go to sleep. So she's always trying to lead me into the bedroom to go to bed. Because she's so happy. Aren't you?
Well, she likes that. She likes that spot on the chair above you very much.
Yes. You are my kitty, aren't you?
And say again why you named her Liz Taylor.
Because she's got a white diamond on her forehead. So Liz Taylor.
Do you think she knows that she's a movie star?
Oh, she knows. She's such a prima.
She's a diva.
She's a big diva, aren't you? With very pretty eyes. Yes. Aren't you a pretty girl? Mm-hmm.
Do you know that you're a TV star now? Do you know that?
She likes you. It is. But this is a piece that holds the silver and the copper foil for this thing, and it just comes off in reams from my little machine.
And this is for your stained glass project?
This is for my stained glass projects. This piece here is for a woman who already has one of my big windows, and this is for a transom for the outside of her house. All the pieces are numbered, so I know which goes where. This is ready to be soldered, so this is almost done. I use antique plates, I use antique ball jar lids, chandelier pieces, all kinds of interesting things. So this is just a little piece. There's a couple other pieces around that you can see sometime, but these are my helper cats. I call her my Velcro kitty because everywhere I go, she's there. She follows me everywhere. She sleeps at the foot of my bed at night. When I'm in my chair watching the news, she's got a little cat bed right next to me, and she's always there. When she first wakes up, she always has to announce that she's awake. She'll go, meow, 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 here I am. And she's here to supervise. Her brother is licking plastic right now, ragdolls. I don't know why, they love to lick plastic.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't eat it, he licks it. He's over there licking plastic right now on a stained glass piece that's already done.
Oh, that's fun. And we must say something about the background.
The train set that you see behind me was done by Tom. Tom is my housemate. He's lived here for 25 years. He is a train buff, and his background is theater. He taught theater, he did lighting design, and all kinds of interesting things. So this whole train set behind me, he has made from scratch. Every single piece he is handmade. He bought pieces, you know, like trees and things, and modified them. All the buildings have been put together by him. He bought some kits but modified them quite a bit. He hand paints stuff. All the rocks around the train tracks are kitty litter. So it's a good use of a product that we already have in our house. There's a tunnel in the back up there that Taylor likes to go hide in sometimes, that the train goes through the tunnel, and she thinks that's a great place to sleep. Tom calls Spencer Godzilla because he will go and knock people over and knock things over. And when Tom has a party, it's a kitty-free zone because they think the train set is their own personal playground. A lot of times when I'm working on stained glass, Taylor will sit right here and watch over my shoulder what I do. This project has been in the works for probably 20 years. Tom had to do a lot of work in this old basement just to make it able to house his train set.
Well, I'd like to turn our conversation to ragdolls again. As you
Okay.
said, you discovered ragdolls. You fell in love with them as a breed. I mean, you've always been a cat lover. Who were some of your other cats? There was Dizzy Gillespie, right?
Dizzy, I had 2 black cats.
Yes.
Satchmo and Dizzy Gillespie. Dizzy was blind, so he was very dizzy because he was always running into things. We had Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
My sister has Mariah Katrina. The cats I have now are Liz Taylor and Spencer Tracy. Their parents are Lord Byron and Isabella.
And somebody's just decided to
Oh, there's Taylor investigating the train set.
investigating the train set. There she is.
We won't say knocking things over, we'll say investigating.
Investigating the train set. There we go.
It's
Oh
such a
my
great kitty
God.
playground.
It is a kitty playground.
Taylor! Taylor!
Just made.
She's not even gonna look at me, she's too interested. One of my favorite cats ever was a Ragdoll rescue. His name was, after an old Burl Ives song that I remember from my childhood, Angus McFergus McTavish Dundee. He was the best ragdoll ever, and we lost him because of a lily. When Tom's father passed away, or moved into a facility, Tom got his plants, and one of them was a peace lily. You know those little lilies that you have in your house. Well,
Or you shouldn't have in your
you
house.
shouldn't have in your house, but we didn't know back then.
No.
And Angus was a very friendly cat, and I couldn't find him for a day. And I found him in the basement, just huddled in the basement. And I immediately took him to the vet. We didn't know what was wrong. And the vet was clueless. Sent him home. The next day I went to the emergency vet with him because he was just so lethargic and I knew something was wrong. They did a lot of tests on him, and then they asked me if there were any lilies in the house, and I said no, not realizing that this plant was by Tom's fireplace. So I said this to Tom, and he said, oh, I found a chewed lily leaf. Angus was in the vet hospital for 3 days. They said he was the best cat they'd ever met. I spent a boatload of money because I didn't want to lose him, but he died. We just couldn't keep him from the lily. It was just from eating a lily, a leaf of a lily. I've read a lot about this since then. Apparently, that even if cats walk in the pollen from a lily that drops it, like if you have lilies on your table, and it's not, the pollen's not taken off, if it falls on the floor and the cat walks on it and licks its paws, it's curtains.
So internally, it shuts down their kidneys.
It shuts down everything.
Everything.
There's no, I mean, we tried everything to keep the cats alive, but apparently, unless you catch it within like an hour or so of when they eat it, they can't stop it. It's extremely poisonous. So you think of just, like the big Easter lilies, but the lilies that you have in your house, the anthurium, stuff like that, they're all poisonous to cats. Angus is buried in the backyard under a giant pot because he was just so special. So yeah, I still get teary-eyed. Angus was such a
me
wonderful
too.
cat, and yeah, just from a lily. So,
Well-
and whenever I see people buying lilies in a store, I say, do you have a cat? And they're like, no. And so I said, yes. I said, do not take that lily home. You will kill your cat.
That's right.
There should be signs on lilies in all the stores that they're extremely poisonous and toxic. They're toxic to dogs too, but not nearly as toxic as they are to cats.
Yeah.
So no lilies.
And so often, somebody will, let's say, they'll send you a bouquet of flowers from any flower, and if you don't realize that lilies are mixed in that bouquet, then you're in danger. You're putting your pet in danger.
Exactly.
I have cats who will they'll just nibble on lettuce if it falls on the floor. It's just kind of instinctive of them.
Yeah.
So really important.
I don't
story.
even like lilies I don't have any lilies in the yard, even though my cats are strictly indoor cats. There are outside kitties.
That's right.
There are neighborhood cats that just live outside that catch all the rodents.
Oh, nice.
So just no lilies in the yard.
Nice. I think that's a really important warning. Lilies do show up with bouquets, so like any occasion, but Valentine's Day, obviously Easter,
And Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, Christmas. So there's a whole list of just plants that are toxic to cats.
My one girlfriend loved lilies, and she would get a big bouquet of those white lilies every week and put them on her dining room table, and she had cats. And I warned her about this, and she says, well, my cats have never touched it. I'm like, you're playing with fire.
Oh, yes.
I said, you need to stop having them because you don't want to be your cat's killer. So, yeah.
Well, let's say a little bit more just on the happy note about Angus. What are some of your happy memories? I love the name. He was a rescue, so he was a purebred, or he...
We don't know.
We don't know. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. He looked like a purebred. He acted like a purebred. He was just very adventurous, very fun. He would escape sometimes. He had a collar on. Back then, I wasn't quite so adamant about keeping cats inside, but now these cats do not go outside whatsoever. But once in a while, he would escape. I would get phone calls from neighbors at 2 a.m. saying, your cat is here in my house having dinner, because he would just go visit and say hi to anybody. So he was only 5 when he passed away, and he looked just like Taylor, except no white diamond on his forehead. Probably about 15 pounds. And somebody gave him up, and he was surrendered in Minnesota. And the girl that lived in Minnesota that worked for the shelter was coming to visit her parents in Indiana. So I met her in Rockford, Illinois at a rest stop and traded cats for, she gave me the cats in the rest stop at midnight one day, and I brought him home. So I was very happy to have him. He was my first find of a ragdoll rescue. I don't know why anybody gave him up, because he was a wonderful cat.
Ah, well, their loss, your gain. And so ragdolls, you were saying some things about ragdolls. They are long-haired. They should be brushed. What are the other, besides not letting them be near a lily or not bringing a lily near them, what are the other care considerations?
With ragdolls, you really don't want to let them outside because they don't have the fight mechanism in them. They are very friendly, so they will walk up to anybody and say hi. So anybody could just pick them up and take them away. They say they don't fight, but I'm not quite sure about that. So they don't have a lot of defenses against other animals. They're just very laid back and very friendly. They do need to be brushed. They do shed. So wear white clothes. I actually used to have dark maroon oriental rugs in my house, and I just gave up and now have wood floors. As I said, they're very friendly, so be prepared that they are not going to be loner cats. If you go away, they will miss you terribly. I get greeted at the door if I'm just gone for a couple hours. I'm lucky that Tom lives downstairs and I live upstairs, and we have an open door policy, so the cats come and go. So we schedule our vacations around each other so that somebody is always here to look after the cats. They are, as I said, they're not finicky. They're just fun cats to be with. And if you want a love bug for a cat, ragdolls are it.
I read that if you're allergic to cats, that the dander is less on the ragdoll.
That's very true. Ragdolls don't have an undercoat, so apparently for people that are allergic, they're way less allergic to ragdolls. My sister's allergic, and she has 3 ragdolls. As long as they sleep at the foot of her bed, she's fine. If they sleep on her head, then she's a little bit allergic. But yeah, people with allergies can have ragdolls over any other cat because they will sneeze away way lot less.
Yeah, that's one advantage. So potentially, if someone wants a cat, I hear people say, I can't have a cat because I'm allergic, or my boyfriend's allergic, or whatever the ragdoll might be.
Might be a good option as long as they're not severely allergic.
Yeah.
I have some friends that use like some lotion that you put on cats to make them less dangerous, but most people don't have problems with cats being allergic when they come to my house.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I like that. And then other advantages to having a ragdoll over other cats. You had black cats. You've had other cats. You mentioned Winston Churchill. I don't remember what breed he was.
He was another ragdoll rescue.
Oh, yes.
He was a great big cat. I rescued him from Franklin, Michigan. I drove 4 hours to get him. This huge cat in this little cage. He was about 17 when he died. When he was about 14, we got the Ragdoll parents, and they had kittens in our house. Winston did not like that too much because the mama cat was very protective. So as Tom says, Winston packed his bags and moved downstairs with the old guy. So Winston became Tom's cat and was very happy living downstairs with Tom, and he just passed away a year ago. He was quite old, but he was a great, very laid-back cat. We had a feral cat that we caught once. He was a little black kitten that ran across my feet in the garden. I thought it was a rat, but it was a kitten. So I actually trapped him in the basement. He ran in when I left the door open. His name was Stanley Cup because he was found when the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup Awards. And Stanley was, Winston actually tamed Stanley. So Winston taught Stanley how to eat and how to get pets. So it was really nice when he decided that when Winston got pet, he got pet. And it just really was a good influence on Stanley, just having that calm ragdoll to teach him how not to be feral.
Oh, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
I have one like that too, but that's a good example
Mhm.
that, you know, cats can train other cats.
Mhm.
And that a cat that lives outdoors, because PetInfoCafe is a big advocate for, you know, cats that live outdoors, are community cats, that they are not feral in the sense that they're not wild animals. They've just had to adapt themselves to living
Correct.
outdoors, but with the right training or the right environment at the right time in their lives, they can be a great human.
He was a great
companion.
pet, yes.
Yeah.
He was lovely.
I
He had a
love it.
beautiful tail too.
Oh yeah, tell me about his tail.
It was like this big black plume. His tail was bigger than Spencer's tail is, and he was just a black kitten. We kind of figured out who his parents were from the stray cats in the neighborhood. But yeah, he was a nice cat. We liked him.
I love that. Well, anything more that so adopting a ragdoll cat, you got lucky. You were savvy apparently about finding one at a shelter. But do you need to go to a breeder to be assured of the breed, or if someone now in 2024, 2025 wants to adopt a ragdoll, what's the best way to go about it?
If you're looking for a ragdoll that you can't afford to pay for them because they can be pricey, but I looked around a lot and found ones from a new breeder that they were less money. But it's not going anymore. But there was a Facebook website called ragdollrescue.com. And that's how I found my ragdoll rescues.
Okay.
You can't be assured that they're full-blooded ragdolls, but I'm a member of a couple other ragdoll Facebook pages, and some people have gotten theirs from rescue places. You just kind of have to know what they look like, and then the only way you can really tell what they are is if you get a blood test done and the breed from them. But ragdolls have a distinctive look to them, and you might get lucky. You'll know as they get older if they're a ragdoll or not.
I see.
And ragdolls, not all of them, but some of them, the reason they're called ragdolls is they will go limp in your arms like a ragdoll.
Oh, right. Okay.
So Taylor will do it sometimes. Spencer will do it sometimes. Their parents, not at all. So it's just a gene in the ragdolls. It goes back to the original ragdolls that when you pick them up, they just go, ah. So that's why they're called ragdolls.
Okay. What about having one ragdoll versus like you having two, or one ragdoll and another cat?
You should always have two.
Okay.
Ragdolls are very social cats. They get lonely without company. But I think that's true of most cats. They are not good alone cats, so you need two is good. They can keep each other entertained. A lot of them are bond with each other. But yes, it's much better with ragdolls to have two.
And you mentioned that they aren't loner cats.
No, they're not loner cats.
And being alone.
Yes.
Okay. So somebody who works from home is.
Yes. And if you work in an office and you come home, your cat will be there at the door waiting for you. Please play with me. Please pet me.
Or just take your cat to the office.
Yes, exactly. That would be a perfect thing.
That's what I want to do. All right.
I was going to say, there was a ragdoll on the cover of Time magazine last year. His name is Benjamin Button, and he's Taylor Swift's cat. She has 2 Scottish folds and 1 ragdoll. And apparently the way she got this ragdoll is she was doing a photo shoot for something else, and they brought in this cute little ragdoll kitten that was very ragdollish, so very floppy and a couple months old. And she completely fell in love with him. and got him from the breeder or the woman that had the ragdolls there. So here's a friendly ragdoll. Here's Liz Taylor again. But I don't think she won't do what Taylor Swift does with her cat. Taylor Swift had her cat draped over her shoulders. My sister has a ragdoll that does that all the time. That's Tinkerbell. So she will ride on her shoulders. Let me just see if we can do it with Taylor. I'm sure she won't like it, but there's Taylor being a ragdoll shoulder rider, but she doesn't like it very much. So she's going to get down almost immediately. There she goes. Yep, there she goes. So ragdolls are famous. And their mothers are famous too.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift can have any cat in the world that she wants. She's got a ragdoll.
I love that, and I think that in terms of, I've heard a lot of talk about how could she possibly get a cat to do that. Now we know how, because ragdolls are so cooperative.
Yes, my sister walks down the stairs all the time with Tinkerbell on her shoulders, just like that.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, Benjamin Button is the typical ragdoll. I mean, they're the very epitome of what a ragdoll is. Very floppy and just loves to be with you. Apparently, he likes to be carried around upside down in her arms all the time.
Oh.
So this one likes to be carried around too, but she just likes to be as close to me as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So she's already followed us 2 floors down to here just to be close to people. But you won't make Time Magazine. You'll just make Jennifer's TV show.
Well, I wonder how, just speculating, how Taylor Swift takes care of her cat when she's on the road all the time.
They travel with her.
They do?
Yes, she takes her cats with her.
So if you're a person traveling, you could take your cat.
You could take your cat with you. In fact, a lot of ragdolls are trained to be on leads, so you can put harnesses on them and take them with you. There's lots of videos of ragdolls riding around in cars, in backpacks. A lot of Maine Coons and ragdolls do that. As you can see, they're very social, because here comes Spencer. He's showing his big tail.
Yes, thank you for showing us your
Spencer,
tail,
come here.
Spencer.
Spencer, turn around. That's your pretty side.
Oh, yes, it is. It's my tail. It's
my
my
tail.
most magnificent part of my body.
Yes.
I do think
So this is how I get my work done, being supervised by 2 kitties.
I see. Are you supervising, Spencer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Check that out. All right. Thank you for checking it out. That's really great. Oh, so she's actually on the road with the cats.
She takes the cats on the road with her.
Oh my gosh.
And the Scottish folds are not as people-oriented as Benjamin Button is, so I guess he gets more airplay because he's a ragdoll, and he has ragdoll traits, and he's just friendly and outgoing, and will just hang out with people and is not afraid of them.
With them. So.
Yes, and more people are traveling with ragdolls and other cats too, but ragdolls and Maine Coons seem to be the ones that travel the best.
Is that right?
Because they're both very, very friendly cats, and most of them are very large cats, so they are easier to be safe than small tiny cats are.
All right. So you mentioned 14 pounds. Is that kind of the maximum weight?
No, 25 pounds for male. They can get quite large.
Ragdolls?
Mm-hmm. And females can get to be about 15 pounds, but mine are on the smaller side.
Okay.
Taylor is only like 7 pounds. She's a tiny ragdoll.
Okay.
And Spencer's about 14 pounds. He should be fatter, but he's a lean kitty.
Yeah, he is. And then lifespan. What's the expected lifespan?
About a normal cat lifespan, about 18 to 22 years or so.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually live about at least 18 years if they're healthy.
And any special health considerations, diet considerations for that breed?
You have to watch. Ragdolls are big cats, and a lot of vets think that they are overweight when they aren't. So you have to know your cat breed, and not just the vet might put them on a scale and say that the cat's too fat. Well, for the breed, they are not. But
I know someone that did that.
Yeah.
Ew.
So you just have to know your cats and know if they're overweight. But some cats like to eat a lot, some cats don't. So mine are light eaters, but there are some ragdolls that are quite hefty, and you as the owner would know better than your vet, because as I said, vets mostly think ragdolls are overweight. They are big cats. They're beefy cats. So know your cat.
I love that. That's just very good advice, and I'm sure all the other veterinary care, or all the care that you should usually get your cats the regular vaccinations as are needed, the grooming, the nail trimming, as you mentioned. You can scruff them and that calms them down. And brushing them, even though they aren't as clumpy as, say, a Himalayan is.
Right. But they do need to be brushed.
Yeah.
Some like it and some don't. As I said, Spencer Tracy loves to be brushed. Taylor, not so much. Their dad, Lord Byron, my mom takes a little tiny brush to him every single night, and it's their routine and their ritual. And Lord Byron loves to be brushed. So, yes. But they do need to be groomed. They are long-haired cats. Said some need to be groomed more than ever, just depending on their genetics and the type of fur they have. My sister has a ragdoll. It's got fur like cotton candy, so her fur mats very easily.
Oh yes.
And these two, they hardly ever mat.
Okay.
So just depends.
What about bathing? Do they need to be bathed? Like
No.
no. Okay.
They are clean and tidy. The only time you might have to bathe them is if they might have an accident and poop on themselves, which doesn't happen very often. A lot of owners will get their cats a haircut, around the back end.
Okay.
So it's called a sanitary haircut.
Yes.
That they sometimes get for them if they have problems with poop getting caught, but I've never had that issue.
All right. Well, that's kind of just goes along with the long-haired breed. Well, Joy, this is a really wonderful information and story, and we really appreciate hearing about a specialty, a special breed and your special relationship with your special Angus and other cats.
Thank you.
Yeah, very heartwarming, and again, a huge shout out and warning to our audience about the danger of lilies and other toxic foods. Well,
Thank you.
For this and more information about Ragdoll Cats, please visit my website, PetInfoCafe.com.